Yeah, good deal. Well, this is your Friday morning meeting. We started out a little late, a few technical difficulties, but we'll keep it rolling. And don't know if we'll have Salt Lake in, but we'll give them a try when that time comes. So today is Friday, August 5th. Got Mr. Steve Field up here, our director of safety. Good morning. We blew through the month of July real quick, and we're into August.
Yeah.
And pretty soon we're going to be talking snow. I hate saying that already, but even though the temperatures are not saying it right now, but we will be talking snow and ice here pretty quick. I know, especially in the upper elevations where it hits first. So this morning I may give it a shot. We're going to try to throw it out to Salt Lake City. Is Mr. Troy Rich in the house? Can you hear us, Troy? No. Troy's out. All right, so we don't have Salt Lake. I think they can hear us, but we just can't hear them. So let's go the other direction. Pittston, Pennsylvania, we have Mr. Rick Ifford up there.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning, Rick?
Doing well. Hey, we had a great week this week. A great bunch of group in orientation, and everything's going well.
That's good to hear, man. We like new people, no doubt about it. So, hey, I was wondering this. I was thinking this on the way in this morning. This week was the 40th anniversary of MTV. Did you ever watch MTV, Rick?
I've seen a couple, yes.
Okay, good deal. 40 years, man. Time flies. There's no doubt about it. I remember I was a kid when that came out. So, yeah, just to reminisce a little bit. But anything else going on up there in Pittston? How's the weather? How's the facilities? Anything else you got?
Everything's good. They're almost done with the dog walks across the street and the dog wash and the runs. And I think we got a picnic coming up this here pretty soon too, right?
You do. I think it's August 27th, Saturday. Yes. So
yes, it is August 27th. So we need everybody to attend. You know, it's bring your families, kids, grandkids, grandparents. You know, it's a great time. You know, we do the bingo. We have the bounce houses, water rides. We got it all.
We do. Not only at your facility and here in Springfield, but we also have it out in Salt Lake too on August 20th. So if you're going through Salt Lake, stop by there on the Saturday, August 20th, and technically you could hit all three picnics, Steve. You know, that'd be kind of wonderful, wouldn't it? Yeah, you could hit it all, man. There'll be all kinds of food and games and fun. And if you can get your family there, if you live out in the western side of the U.S. and get them into Salt Lake, it's a good, fun activities to have here as our picnic. So glad to get back to them. It's been too long. So anything else to add, Ricky?
You know, one other thing I want to add, and only because we're trying to get this ramped up here in Pittston, and that's the Pride and Polish. You know, you guys put on a great show down there with the Pride and Polish, and we're just trying to get it established up here. So if you want to, you know, enter your truck and think you got the best looking one, you know, bring it on up on the 27th, and we'll certainly vote on them.
No doubt, we do that here in Springfield too. Ours will be Friday, September 2nd. Will be our Pride and Polish and our truck driving championship. So we have a little bit more here in Springfield, but one of these days, hopefully we'll get that spread out to Salt Lake and Pittston, have a TDC at all three locations and a Pride and Polish. That'd be fun. I know up in Salt Lake, I was talking to Tyler Patrick, and he said he's going to have a little truck driving championship, a little yard dog competition with his mechanics up there during the picnic. So that'd be something to see as well. See how well they can back those trailers in using a yard dog, and totally different animal than our normal tractor. So it'd be interesting to watch that out in Salt Lake. But Rick, if you got any more questions, any comments, let us know, man. We'll get you on the mic.
Hey, we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you too. And that ever Pride and Polish, that's a great thing to look at too. Those trucks, they spiffy them all up, polish them. Make them look beautiful.
Under the lights.
Under the lights here in Springfield for that one, no doubt about it. So back here in Springfield, welcome everybody. Good morning. If you're new here in orientation, all three locations, if this is your first week, if you could please stand and be recognized, we'd love to give you a round of applause. All right, go ahead and be seated. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment of coming here. It's been some of you starting off in a new industry. Maybe some of you, this may be your first real job. For some of you, maybe a third or fourth job. Who knows? But trucking is an exciting career. There's no doubt about it. And offers you a lot of freedoms out there on the highway. but it is very time constraints on you. I mean, you're away from your family. It's just kind of a rough life. It can be, but we try to make it as friendly and as family atmosphere as we can. And this is what we do. This is one thing we do here at Prime. Obviously, our picnics and our holiday parties we'll have later on this year, and everything else we do throughout the year, it's all aimed towards the drivers. It's about you guys and these facilities. It's for you all to enjoy. And when you're here, hopefully you do enjoy them. Enjoy your time here, but obviously you make money by being out on the road and hauling freight. And that's what it's about. So thank you for coming. Thank you for joining our Prime, our new family here. You are part of our family, no doubt about it. And, want to see everyone to be successful in this industry. And that starts with being safe. So, and that's what we're talking about here this morning. And I got Steve up here.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning. Go ahead. Throw a few words out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, offer my welcome to our new folks. We're grateful that you're here. We gave you a good check before you came here. Hopefully you checked us out. It is going to be a change for you, as Dave said, but we know you're all up to it. It's challenging. It can be dangerous out there, but it can also be very rewarding. Trucking has been good to Dave and I most of our adult lives, and welcome to the industry. My suggestion would be sure to listen. Don't be afraid to ask questions, but your instructors, your trainers, they're the best of the best here with us. So please listen to them. He and she, they know what they're doing. So listen to them and we'll take care of you. That's our commitment to you. For our more senior drivers, good to have you here. Appreciate you being here this Friday. We've got some good speakers. We're going to start with some safety stuff and going to go into hours of service a little bit. We do struggle with that, and it's not like we're going over hours, just so many rules with the electronic logs. So we got a couple of our log advisors here. So think of your questions if you have any on the log side. So Brennan and Donna can get those for you. And you want to start with safety day?
Yeah, let's look at some numbers here. Our inspections this past week, we jumped up on our inspections, 154 of them. 97 were clean, so a 63% clean rate. Very good job. Paid out $7,150 on clean inspections this week. So independent contractor, owner, operator, you get $100 for clean inspections. Company drivers get $25. So we love our clean inspections. There's no doubt about it. And you can make money off them. Doesn't matter if you get one or two of them in a row in the same trip, you're still going to get paid off them as long as they're clean and there's no violations. So keep those coming in. Obviously, any inspection you get, you need to send it in to us. We have to have that. Especially if it has a violation, because number one, we make sure the violation has been addressed, it's been corrected. And number two, those we have to send back to the states. We have to sign off on them. States want to make sure that our drivers are turning them in. So if they don't, then they get a little angry with us. And there's like, hey, this driver received this violation. We haven't seen the inspection back. And then we got to get you routed in here, figure out what's going on, why it wasn't sent in, and go down that path. So it's just a lot easier. Just send them in. We'll get them. And if it's not a very good inspection, we'll address it with you. We'll figure out what's going on. We'll correct it and get heading down that right road, that right path. So,
can I say one thing on that?
Oh, go ahead, jump on in. Yeah.
Something we haven't talked about in a long time. I think we have a good relationship with law enforcement. I think you present very well out there over the road. In fact, this week we had a lot of the Missouri Highway Patrol and a few other states represented to do some training that they need to do. We offered up our pad for them, and Stan Casterkey got them some trucks so they could do some training and gave them a tour, and they were super impressed with our people, our facilities. But the one thing I did want to mention, we do need to make sure, and the question might come up, well, what if I disagree with a violation? I think the officer's wrong or something. You can certainly ask a question. I don't understand this. You're saying I need to do this, but that's not the way I was taught, or I think, respectfully, you might be wrong. But, if the officer sticks to his guns, that's all right. Take the inspection, because we've got another process we can go through, and Dave does those for us. They're called data queues, where if we disagree with an inspection, a violation, Dave will send it in, it'll be reviewed, and a good amount of time we get them overturned, and that comes off your record, off Prime's record. So I think probably, the points to take away are you always want to be respectful at an inspection. The officer's doing his job, you're doing your job. We're both professionals. But if you do disagree, get with us in the safety department. Let us take a look at it. And we may say, the officer's right. What he referenced there, that was correct, or that doesn't look right to either. And then Dave will fire up a data queue and send it in, and we're pretty successful on those. So, we appreciate Dave doing those. So that's just something we have if you disagree with a violation.
Any questions on that? We'll move on from there. Okay, good deal. Last week, we talked about a goal, getting out and look while we're backing, making sure, anytime you're in a backing situation, you get out and look, make sure there's nothing behind you. We've got some goal stickers here this morning. I think Dennis has, and then John, that they can hand out if you want a goal sticker. We recommend putting those stickers right on your mirror because that's a reminder. Every time you look in that mirror, get ready to back. Says goal, it means you need to get out and look. And sometimes we need to get out and look more than once, and that's fine. If you need to, that's the safe way to do it. Want to make sure there's nobody behind you, there's no debris behind you, you're not going to be backing over something. Even if you're going into a dock, sometimes they leave dunnage down there in the lower level, whatever, and you run over, you're going to damage your tires, damage your trailer. Don't want to do that. So make sure you get out and look, make sure everything's looking good. If you need a goal sticker, raise your hand, or John and Dennis will be walking around handing them out. They're good to have and good to put on your mirrors. Just a reminder, especially for our trainers out there, a good device to use as well. So we got them at all 3 locations, Pittston, Salt Lake, and here as well. So get those goal stickers put on. Well, a couple other things I just wanted to bring up real quick here. Number one, I was doing a safety review this past week with a couple drivers, and we brought up bobtailing. And I like to bring up little different subjects just to see what they know. And we talked about bobtailing, and that's when you don't have a trailer behind you. And sometimes there's situations where you may deliver, you may drop your trailer at one location, and they want you to run over to a different facility and pick up another. And when that happens, remember to drive accordingly. When you're bobtailing your truck, it's not going to handle the same as it is with a trailer. And especially with a loaded trailer, the braking is going to be different, little more flimsy in the back end. When you brake with a bobtail, it may bounce a little bit. You're not going to get that good braking. So lower your speeds when you're bobtailing. Obviously, with snow and ice and all that, do not use your cruise control when you're bobtailing. You shouldn't use it anyway, even with the trailer. So stay away from that. Snow and ice, rain. Watch your speed too, because you can lose control very easily with a bobtail, and you just don't have any weight back there for that truck to operate on. And braking's totally different. So be aware of that. It's a good thing. And we'll be coming into the months where it's going to start raining a little bit more. We get into September, October, then we're going to hit that snow and all, and everything's going to change. So just be prepared, and just remember when you're bobtailing, watch your speed and watch your braking. So. Anything you want to add?
Nope, that's good, Dave.
All right, which we go next?
Want to go to our first speakers?
Let's go.
All right, I'll do this.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yep, it's yours.
A little bit of history for our new folks. Paper logs were kind of the standard in the industry for decades. And then around 2009, we made the decision to go to electronic logs. I think it was the right decision. Obviously, it became the law. So going to them a little bit early probably helped us. But there are some challenges with electronic logs. I think there's a lot of good things. You don't have to know how to spell Albuquerque or something. It'll spell everything out for you. But there are some challenges with electronic logs. And when we get violations each week, we give them to our log department to review and to get with the drivers and try to coach them on it so we don't make the same mistakes. But we did bring a couple of the log advisors over today to just kind of talk about some of the common errors they see. I'd really hate to see someone miss out on $100 for a clean inspection because they couldn't find their spare logbook or something that simple that literally could cost an operator $100 because they didn't get that bonus for a clean inspection. So I'm going to ask Brennan and Donna to come on up, two of our log advisors, and I won't take much of their thunder here. Matter of fact, I'll just make sure if you talk about the log department and the hours you're there and all that stuff. So let me turn it over to you two and we'll see where it goes. So, and please make sure you have questions for them. There's no question these two can't answer.
Good morning. All right, so we're just going to kick this off with a little Q&A between Donna and myself. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get the mic over to you. So Donna, if my Qualcomm is functional, do I still need to keep a paper logbook on the truck?
Yes, you should always have a paper logbook on the truck because it is your backup plan. So if your electronic device goes out, you still have to have another way of recording all of your duty statuses and keeping track of your records. So the paper logbook is going to have graphs inside, okay? And it will represent recording your duty statuses, show the time or length of time that you were in that status, keeping track of your 11 and 14-hour clock as well as your 70-hour clock. And of course, most importantly, the locations, okay, cities and states. Now, if you've never used a paper logbook before or done a graph, when you contact us, which you are required to do if you have any issues, we will walk you through the process on how to log, okay? There is also an example in the very back of your paper logbook that shows you or gives you an example of what it looks like to record, okay, with some commentary, all right? But we can definitely walk you through the process of it.
So if I need to contact my log advisor, if I have any questions or concerns, how do I find my log advisor's contact information?
Okay, so your contact information is going to be in the Prime app. If you go under My Contacts, you will actually find not only your log advisor, but your fleet manager, your road assist, and your pay clerk.
So one really important thing to remember is that your log department is 24/7. So whether you have a question day, night, weekday, weekend, or holidays, somebody is here to assist anytime you need. So please make sure to utilize us as a resource. So Donna, next question. What are some examples of legal personal conveyance use, and what are the limitations on personal conveyance?
Well, legal personal conveyance, okay, the parameters of it, you can use it to make small in vicinity movements, okay? I always tell everybody in class, it's like think about it as your 911 card. So it's food, rest, or facility, okay? But it is always a small vicinity movement, and it's never for elongated movements. It's never for work-related movements of any kind, such as going to washouts, repair shops, coming into the terminal, going home, or in advancing in the direction of your dispatch, okay? You can't use it if you are out of hours, okay? Personal conveyance is not an extension of your clock, okay? The hours given are the hours available, okay? But PC is only for the small vicinity movement. So if I was at a customer and I needed to leave to get to a truck stop or a parking area close by, I can, if I choose to, select my personal conveyance to make that movement. And of course, I always want to ensure I notate why I'm using it, okay? By going to the remark box and either selecting a comment from a dropdown or typing in your own personalized comment, okay? And that goes the same for if you were leaving maybe to go grab a shower close by, use this, or maybe go to a close vicinity as well, okay? But just remember, one of the biggest things is not doing a drive-by, meaning I said, hey, it's a customer, logged my on duty, went to my truck stop, and then I PC'd back. That's not okay. It is illegal. If you leave for any reason from the customer and need to return, you have to be on the drive line when you return, okay? It's a return to work movement.
That is excellent. Okay, so personal conveyance is a really, really hot topic right now with DOT, with the FMCSA as well. It's something they're paying really special attention to. So you'll notice anytime you select personal conveyance, you will generate an automated alert. And this alert lays out when you can and cannot use PC. It does give you specific examples on when you can use personal conveyance. And there is a warning there at the end stating, if you misuse personal conveyance, you will lose it as a privilege. So it's really important that anytime you have questions or concerns, give us a call and let us know so that we can check it out and advise. Perfect.
If I leave the customer personal conveyance home, do I have to go back to that customer to get back on the drive line?
You got this on it?
No.
So you're going home from the customer and then you're having to return?
Well, do I have to go back there to put it back on drive?
Yes, if you leave for any reason and you have to return to the customer, you have to be on the drive line at all
The
times.
same customer?
Returning in, yes.
So I think what he's referring to is an older rule where if you use personal conveyance to go to a location, you have to return back. Yeah.
But then they load me in Birmingham.
Yeah, so that's not the case anymore. It's an outdated rule. You won't have to return back to the location you originally left.
Okay, girls, so if you're out of hours and you're stuck at a customer and they run you completely out of hours, you cannot use personal conveyance to leave?
So using personal conveyance to leave your customer is a totally acceptable use. You just have to go the closest safe location and finish up a legal break. I think what Donna was referring to when she said you can't switch to personal conveyance when you run out of time is if you simply drive out all your hours,
Yeah.
laying down serious miles, and you're looking at a violation. Trip planning is always going to be your best friend. So trip plan, and communicate. We know you can't control every violation that's going to occur, but trip planning is going to minimize your risks.
And that includes not just point A to point B, all stops in between, and always have a secondary spot of where you may go to. Okay, that's going to help better keep you within the hours of service and make adjustments based on any kind of changing conditions that come into play. Oh. All right, Brendan, we'll have a few questions for you here. Okay. So biggest one is, what do I do when I put my truck in the shop? And I'm talking not just at the terminal, but I'm also talking about if I'm out at a repair shop outside the terminal.
Yeah, so anytime you're putting your truck in the shop, you need to make sure to log out of the unit completely. Reason being, whenever the ELD mandate went into effect, it stripped our ability to edit drive status. So if a mechanic trips your drive clock, there's really not much we can do, right? Please make sure to log out and be proactive. This also goes for if your truck is being towed. If your truck is being towed, log out completely before it's being towed.
Okay, but why can't I just go off duty? If I go off duty, I shut my truck off. Is that going to stop it from, recording movements from a mechanic?
Unfortunately not. So per the ELD mandate, if your unit registers a speed of 5 miles per hour at any given moment, it's going to trip your drive status. So it's really critical you take that extra step and you log out completely.
Take your logs with you.
Yep.
All right, so next question. When do I need to log on duty?
All right, so on-duty status is what you would log when you're working, but you're not physically behind the wheel driving. There are several instances when you need to log on duty, including when you're at a customer, maybe you're doing some loading, unloading, you're doing some paperwork, checking in at the facility. Any flatbedders, we're looking at your tarping and strapping, tankers, supervised pump off. So log your on-duty time at these customer facilities. For reefer drivers, typically we're looking at 5 to 15 minutes on average. For flatbedders, really it depends on several factors. You could be looking at as little as 30, 45 minutes if you're not doing much work, but usually closer to an hour or two, sometimes 3 or more. For our tankers, we could be looking at a couple minutes handing out paperwork, or potentially up to an hour if you're doing that supervised pump off. It really just depends on the amount of product and what you're hooking together during that time. Fueling is another really big moment you need to go on duty. DOT's recommendation is that you're on duty 1 minute per 10 gallons of fuel you get. It's a good estimate, but we know in most cases, the pumps are much quicker. So log something realistic and you'll be in good shape. DOT inspections is another really big one. Whenever you're working with DOT, you've got to go on duty the moment you come to a stop, to the moment you're finished working with an officer. This also goes for if you're, God forbid, involved in an accident. Go on duty the moment you come to a stop and remain on duty the entirety that you're working with the DOT officers. Your inspections, pre and post, you've got to make sure that you're going on duty for one of these. DOT requires you're on duty for 1 per shift. So whether it's your pre or post, that is completely up to you. Typically, we're looking at 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, it could be more, especially if you're still in training. You could be looking at more time completing those inspections. Really, any time that you're working and you're not driving, you need to make sure you're documenting you're on duty.
I have a question then. What happens if I'm stuck in traffic?
All right. So you're
And I'm at a
stuck.
standstill. I'm not moving.
Yeah. So anytime you're at a complete standstill, dead stop traffic, you need to make sure you're logging a working status. Even though you might not be in motion and you want to save those clocks, you're still technically behind the wheel. You're still technically working. So you've got to show on duty. Now, if you log off duty, or even worse, sleeper berth while you're in standstill traffic and somebody hits you not paying attention, you're now the professional driver on the road logging a break. It's a false record of duty status and it puts you in a very dangerous position. So on duty if you come into standstill traffic.
Okay. What happens if I'm on the side of the road? Do I also need to be on duty at that time, or can I go off duty or maybe go take a nap?
Absolutely, remain on duty. Maybe there's some sort of breakdown. You're on the side of the road. remain on duty. It's unpredictable what might happen on the roadways. And again, if someone's not paying attention and they hit you, you want to make sure that you're covered and that you're legal. All right.
Do you have any
Any
questions?
Questions,
out there?
concerns?
That's first.
All right. Yeah, of course. Pittston, do you have any questions for us? All right. So real quick, just before we exit the center stage, I want to point out your log advisor is 24/7. So day, night, weekends, weekdays, holidays. You can give us a call and someone will be here to assist. Your physical log advisor is going to be over in the new Plaza building, right by inbound, outbound, behind driver lineup. So anytime you want to come visit, feel free to come see us. We also hold comprehensive log classes, which covers literally everything you need to know in order to remain legal on the roadways. These classes are taught live here in Springfield, New Plaza Building, multipurpose room, 1:30 in the afternoon. It's a 2-hour class. And we stream it live to both Salt Lake City and Pittston. So no matter what terminal you're at, feel free to attend if you're there Monday through Friday.
Hey, Brandon. So if you're broke down on the side of the freeway, you're on duty and you run out of your 14 hours, then what do you do?
Yeah, so remain on duty for that time. Being on duty beyond your 14 is absolutely not an issue. Now, whenever it comes time to leave and move on to the next closest safe place, remain on drive and enter a note to explain what happened. Now, gaining a violation is never, ever, ever a good thing, but it's always lesser an offense than misusing PC or tampering with your hours of service. And if you have a notation in your log to explain what's going on, the officers can take that into account and maybe cut you some slack. It's always going to be up to the officer's discretion, so it's not a get out of jail free card, but it could help.
And just one more thing too, is I think with the on-duty time, especially like if you run out of on-duty time, the biggest thing is you're thinking at that point is I'm going to get a violation. But of course, circumstances come up that are unpredictable and they do occur. Another one, just going in accordance with that, is on duty. So a lot of times we see I did get stuck in traffic. I'm at the customer. I've got 5 minutes left on my 14-hour clock. And do I do an inspection? Do I still log my on-duty time? Can I? And yes, you absolutely can, because you can be on duty past your 14-hour clock as long as the next thing you do is take your break and meet and complete it and do not do any more driving. So you can definitely get that vehicle inspection in there, which is something you never want to negate no matter what. It says that your truck was not checked for safety, to ensure its safety. And you can also take into account your on-duty check-in time for on-duty as well.
All right. Any last minute questions, concerns, comments? No. All right.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, good job.
You know, I hope you can tell how enthusiastic they are about what they do. They do provide a service, just as your payroll advisor does, your road assist advisor. Don't be afraid to ever ask questions or say, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you repeat that? Because we're all in this together. Our job is easy compared to your job. You're never bothering us if you have a question or can you go over that again? I'm just not getting this. And just a few points that I just want to emphasize just for a second on a couple of things they said. And one was off of Doreen's question back there. Don't ever falsify your log. You know, Chance, well, what if I run out of hours on the side of the road? We don't want you to park on the side of the road. If the record comes out, it fixes the tire, whatever the issue is, get yourself off the shoulder to a safe place to park. That's what we want you to do. I know you're going to be over hours, exactly as Brennan and Donna said. Just annotate your logs. You're doing the right thing. It's not going to be a problem with us. And I think most officers would certainly understand that by looking at your logs. No, it's not. No, the off-ramp is not a safe place to park. We don't want you parked there. We don't want you parked on the shoulder. So I do want to thank Brennan and Donna for being up. They are down in the Plaza building with the other log associates. Susan Byrne is the manager down there. If you have any questions or any concerns, you're more than welcome to talk with her.
Hey, it's one thing they brought up too, PC.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating for us to, when you can use PC, when you can't. It goes the same for law enforcement too. We've had Captain Kelly in here from the Missouri Highway Patrol, And enforcement has asked FMCSA for many years for guidance on this PC. How long can a driver use it? When can they use it? This and that. And there's been no guidance provided yet from FMCSA. Now CVSA's gotten involved and they're pushing FMCSA for some guidance too, because it is frustrating. It's frustrating for enforcement to figure out, are you technically under personal conveyance or should you be on the drive line? And so hopefully that comes about in the next year or so. We hope for some clarification, but it is
Like
tough.
the Canadian. Be like the Canadians. They do have a limit.
There you go. Yeah, Canadians do. Yeah, no doubt. So sometimes they do the right thing up there. So no doubt.
That is a good point. And if you're not sure on the personal conveyance, just give a call into your log auditor. As they said,
Yep.
the log department's here pretty much from 6 in the morning till about 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon, but we do have coverage all night. We have teams of folks that cover cargo claims, safety, and logs available for you. We work. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
No, just one thing I wanted to bring up. Amy asked me to over here. We got the new Prime Ways magazine has come out. So some of you will be getting it in the mail. That's how Amy got it. But if you don't, look down here in the mail room. They usually have some copies down there. But this is the Prime magazine. Tells you what's going on. Really good articles in there. Just tells you what's going on within the company. And family oriented too as well. And gives you some dates and all that that's coming up. And events we have coming. So get your copy. It's good stuff.
It's a good magazine. Our next speaker, I don't think he made it today, but the topic is so important. We're still going to talk about it. I'm going to ask Dennis Davis to come up. Dennis is one of our safety supervisors, spent a lot of time in operations. And, we did have a little incident in the yard earlier this week. So I'm going to ask Dennis to talk about it. And, this is just something that we all need to really police ourselves. Dennis?
Thank you, Steve. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to especially our folks in those neon vests, and good morning to the inaudible folks in Salt Lake City, and of course our folks in Piston. I just want to talk a little bit about an incident we had here at the Prime Terminal in Springfield, Missouri earlier this week. We had one of our well-known operators. I won't say his name since he's not here to join me. He got injured here at the terminal because he was hit by a pickup truck that was driving on the yard by another one of our associates in another department. Okay. Thank God that he's okay. He's uninjured, got a few scuffs on his left side, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. It could have been catastrophic had he been a few more steps out to the right, or had that driver been going a little bit faster in that pickup truck. We could be talking about a much different situation, which is why I want to talk to you guys a little bit about yard safety, not just here at Prime in Springfield, any of our terminals, and especially any customers or any place where there's a lot of moving vehicles, truck stops, truck washes, whatever the case may be. So I want to have you come and stand with me, and I won't give you the microphone, but I'll let you be my model for today. You're a good-looking guy. You can be our model. What's your name? LeBron. LeBron has this. I don't know if it's yellow. I don't know if it's green. We'll just call it neon vest that he has on with the reflective tape. One of the requirements while you're out here working on the pad is that you have on something reflective at all times for extremely high visibility. Okay. So make sure that whenever you're navigating these places, and keep in mind that while you're driving, folks may be, talking on the phone. They may have on their hands-free device where they can't hear you. You may even honk, and they may not even respond, and vice versa. While you're out there walking and you see some folks that are navigating vehicles, the key is what? Somebody help me out. Eye contact. If you're crossing over somewhere where you know that there's big vehicles coming across, make eye contact with that driver. If you see them and they see you and they say, "Hey, LeBron, go ahead. Go for it." Now you can sit back down. I know you don't want to be up here. Make sure you're making eye contact with anybody that you're coming across. That's so important. It's so important. Next thing, typically if you do get injured, let us know so we can make sure that we do something about it. You guys' safety on the road is important. Just as important, your safety in these areas are just as important too. So make sure you've got reflective attire on. Make sure that you're making eye contact. And for our folks that are driving around, go slow. Don't rush. Don't go, don't jump in line. Don't try to go around, Dave talked about how important it is to get out and look, and we've got our stickers over here. It's bad if you back up and you hit somebody's truck or somebody's property. We can rebound from that. But it's really bad if that dock worker just stepped out to grab a smoke break and he's listening to his AirPods and he can't hear you and he doesn't notice that you're backing up and you back over him. Okay, so it's really important that we're just so aware all times when we're in these open spaces. So does anybody have any questions I can answer for you?
Yeah, my question is, why is drivers bringing the personal vehicles where the trucks are?
Say it again. Why are drivers bringing?
Oh,
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
I'll explain to him.
He was asking why was the driver bringing a personal vehicle where the trucks are, and that's not the case here.
No, it wasn't a personal vehicle. It was a company vehicle. But I think Bill's got you. Go ahead.
So another thing, my name's Stan. I work in the driver training area here in Springfield. So for all of our locations as well, don't sit on the training pad. Always have your head up 360 all the time, watching for vehicles around you. We have novice drivers around here. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Oh, wait, it's not Don Cook. But Don Cook might forget to set the brakes on his truck sometime. We hope not. But if that vehicle starts rolling, you have to be paying attention to what's going on around you at all times. So just throwing that in there too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stan.
Hey, I got a
Miles?
comment up here in Piston.
All right, Rick Iford in Piston. Good morning.
It's the same along lines of the training thing. And if you're helping somebody back up or you're working on the pad and you're backing up, don't put yourself in a position where you cannot be seen. Always make sure that you're seen by the person backing up and make sure you have some good hand signals as far as what your intentions are with stopping and going and that type of stuff. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, we'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Dennis. That's one of those topics that we're all in this together. We don't want to see anybody get hurt out there. Almost every day I walk through the yard to try to get a little bit of exercise, and there's a lot of activity out there, and we're all in this together, whether it's an in-house associate driving a pickup truck or a driver bobtailing or pulling a trailer. We can't be too safe on the yard. That's one of those when someone gets hurt, we say, that shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. So thanks, Dennis, for sharing that all with us.
Let's bring our maintenance guy up, right? Yeah. So safety and maintenance goes hand in hand out there on the roadway and including in our shops here. So I'd like to bring Justin Kaufman up. Justin oversees our road assist department. So welcome.
All right.
Hey, Justin,
Thank you.
before you get started, though, I just thought of something here. We got a bunch. I'm not talking about the vendors. We appreciate our vendors, but back here, we got a lot of folks that kind of your management team within the shop. Could you, I can sort of see with Brett, maybe go from Brett all the way down through Eric Mertens, and I see Chris Holtmeyer there. Just identify who these folks are and what they do if people have problems.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. And so over to our left, Brett Bess, why don't you raise your hand? Brett is our corporate trainer. So, his responsibility is to make sure that all of our technicians are up to speed, working with Truck Centers, Inc. To bring in training from the OE to make sure that our technicians are up, doing repairs properly and getting the job done. And so to his right is Doug Tam. He's our corporate tire manager and does an incredible job of managing all of our tire expenses across the board and working with our tire retreading department and even EcoShred a little bit. To his right, we've got Jordan Silva, who has a very tough role in being our corporate parts manager currently. And so, he's working with our vendors, our suppliers to source parts for all terminals, which, as you can imagine, is very difficult right now. Pulling in these parts from, like I said, different suppliers, different areas, different crosses and things like that. And then up in front is Chris Holtmeyer. He is a manager over all fleet maintenance, and works to improve efficiencies across all of our shops, and take care and make sure that everybody is on track. So in the back too, I want to do another quick introduction of all of our vendor support, and Steve, mentioned about our vendors, but You know, we've got Jared Brackett, Jared in the back there. He works with Ozark Utility. We've got Chris Syside with Springfield Peterbilt, Brad Sturgis with Premier Truck Group. Jeff Ward is an on-site rep here for Freightliner, does an incredible job. You know, so if you drive a Freightliner truck and you've got any issues or problems, you know, he's your contact there. We got Philip Goller with Thermo King. Also another on-site rep, you know, he would tell you, and I'll tell you, if you've got a tri-pack on your truck, even though it's summertime, we need to make sure that we're firing up our bunk heater every 20 minutes a month, just to make sure that our bunk heaters are working, because whenever it gets to be, you know, December, January, you're going to want to make sure that heater's working. So 20 minutes a month on that heater. But to his left, we've got Chad Taylor with International. He's our on-site international rep. He's working hard every day to get parts. Make sure to know him. And to his left, we've got Van Gertner, on-site Peterbilt rep. Does an incredible job working to get Peterbilt trucks out. But you know, this is a you know, incredible shop staff. You know, if you have these issues, to work to. You know, we'll be around after the meeting. I'll say that too. So if you have any questions, if you've got a truck that, you know, that you've had a consistent issue with, or your truck's currently in the shop and, you know, you're having trouble, or the vendor's having trouble finding a part, these are the people to get a hold of. And I'll be around after the meeting as well. I just wanted to touch on a few things coming up. August 21st through 27th, I believe, is brake check. So, you know, just make sure that we're doing, you know, really good pre-trip, en-route, you know, post-trip inspections, checking over tires, you know, doing leak down tests, applied brake pressure leak down tests, and static air leak tests, making sure that we don't have any air leaks in any brake chambers or anything like that. You know, so make sure, and if you have any questions on how to do those, or how to properly do, or whether an air leak, you know, is too large or not, you know, we'll be around after the meeting and we can talk about, you know, how to do that. I also wanted to, you know, kind of put a plug in for our pro maintenance classroom, pro maintenance class, you know, and Don Cook is here, but, you know, pro maintenance 1.0 was an idea out of our driver advisory board, you know, and the idea being that we wanted to teach hands-on with operators how to do general basic repairs, like priming a reefer unit, changing out a headlight bulb, changing a fuse, and just doing small little repairs. And in today's environment where, you know, we are having trouble over the road, you know, finding labor to do repairs, you know, the truck stops are backed up. You may experience 3 or 4 hour waits, especially on nights and weekends. You know, it's a perfect class to show you the value of saving money, you know, and show you how to do things. So we offer this class Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 4 over here at the campus. And if you want to sign up, you can reach out to your fleet manager or your road assist advisor. We would love to have you. We had a good class yesterday. Philip Goller taught it. So we continue to have folks come in, and I think it's really beneficial. So, you know, once again, you know, we'll, you know, if you know how to change that mud flap, you can avoid waiting at that truck stop, you know, or you know how to prime a reefer unit, you can avoid waiting at that truck stop. You know, we'll pay you to do those repairs, and that way you can get on moving down the road. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know, is that open to new guys too, to coming in who are in an orientation or in early parts of training?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can sign up, and well, we'd be happy to have you. So, all right. Any other questions?
Good, Justin.
Okay. Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
coming up. And
Way to go. All right. Yeah, good job, Justin.
you know, a couple of things I'll mention before our last couple speakers come up. I always like to make sure we do this. I'm sure you all have a smartphone. It's so important that you have the Prime app and you know how to use the app. That is a game changer out there. So if you're having trouble with it after the meeting, if you just see Brianne over here, she will help you with that. You know, they've set it up so the help desk can help you with it. We want to make sure you know how to use that app, and it's the tool that it can be out there to make you more successful. Second thing is, I always am honored to do this. I'd like to ask all our veterans to stand so we could recognize you this morning for your service to our country. And finally, before our next two speakers come up, we're heading into a weekend. The roads are busy out there. The price of gas is starting to come down. There's a lot of traffic out there. I'm just going to say, remember our three tenets of being safe out there. If you follow these three basic tenets, I can just about guarantee that you're going to be okay out there. We can't avoid all accidents. We can't help it if someone runs into the back of us, but a lot of accidents can be avoided by just remembering drive at an appropriate speed for the conditions and a speed that's appropriate for your ability. You guys that are newer, you're not going to be driving at the speed that a 3 million safe mile driver may be driving at. If you need to go slower, we're good with that. Drive at a speed that you're comfortable with and that is appropriate for the conditions you're in, whether it's traffic, construction, rain, or it's a perfectly sunny day on I-10. You decide what the speed is that's appropriate. Second one is following distance. That's a pet peeve of mine. Appropriate following distance will always give you that extra second or two that you are going to need to avoid an accident when something happens in front of you. I get on my wife all the time about that. Back up a little bit, sweetheart. Just give a little bit more room right here. Following distance is your friend out there. And finally, don't be distracted in the cab. Don't be distracted. You just don't know when, after years of driving, something is going to happen totally unexpected. You want to be ready for it. You want to be focused. You don't want to be reaching for something or even having your mind distracted out there. We need to be focused on what we're doing as professional drivers. So please, speed, following distance, and don't be distracted out there. You all do a fantastic job for our new drivers. You got a long road ahead of you, but you're up for this task. I know you are. We've been in training drivers now for 15, 16 years. It's the best training program in the business. You listen, you learn, and pretty soon you're going to be sitting here and saying, I'm ready to become a trainer or an instructor myself and share the knowledge that I learned. We appreciate everything you do. I'd like to ask Steve Wutke, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing, to come up.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Man, I'll tell you, my name's Steve Wutke. I'm in sales, but I think earlier in the presentation when we had these ladies from Logs do their presentation, it's just an example of the really great people we have in our company at all levels. I hope you get the understanding that they're on your team. They know their business very well, and they will help you when you have a problem. They are not the enemy. They are not the Gestapo. In fact, they're the savior in many instances. So feel free to talk to them about your log situations when you get into a tight spot, okay? We call this a safety meeting, but we talk about a lot of different things and talk about just in general our culture here at Prime. It is transparency. We're fortunate we have ownership that likes to share. And this week we had the Technician Advisory Board, Chris and Kevin and all the people in the shop brought some of their shop people in from Pennsylvania and from Salt Lake City. And I was fortunate enough to get to listen to some of it. And we have a tremendous maintenance staff and they do a great job. Again, we're not perfect in any one area at all. We're always looking to get better, but through communication and education, we can accomplish that. So I'd like to welcome all of you new operators that are joining our company. You chose a really good company to hook your wagon to. And when you were recruited, again, if somebody told you that there's perfection here, they may have stretched the truth a little bit. We can all get better in every way. And these meetings that we have, that we invest in, that's one of the ways we do it, through communication. I'd like to thank all of our vendors as well that take time to participate with us. I would say this about our yard safety. Sometimes I see some of our vendor trucks zipping around as well. So I would ask that you all just ask your operators to slow down in those pickup trucks as well. I do a little bit of walking out here in the yard. I'm losing my flexibility. I'm not as quick as I used to be, and I've had to dodge a few pickup trucks along the way. So think about the speed. when I see our operators driving around the yard, you all do a terrific job. Generally, you're very slow, taking your time, moving around, and practicing good safety. So we thank you for that. On the business side, you know, we're getting into the fall, school's coming back, business is good, it's going to continue to get better. This is kind of our wheelhouse here. So there's a lot of freight out there. Y'all are going to be making a lot of money. I might be asking for a small loan from some of you because you're going to have a lot of money to loan. You hear me? Donnie, you got me? You laughing, but anyway, it's a great opportunity to earn. I think when you look at our business model, as business has continued to be good and rates have continued to move, our operators are really earning a great living, and certainly you deserve it. We're going to continue to push on volumes, work on our accessorials, and make life as good as we can for you. We've been blessed again with ownership. The guy that started this company about 54 years ago, Robert Lowe. I'd like you to come up, Robert, and kind of talk to these folks. I'm sure they've got some questions. I could do a Q&A like those ladies did, but I get to go first because we're going to run out of time.
Hello. Well, thanks for inviting me. I thought you were never going to shut up. Man, you know, he's a sales guy. He can talk, can he? I mean, he can just lay it on you. He's something else. It's good to see you all. New folks, welcome. Welcome to Prime. It's good to have you here. We're proud of you. You're family now. Don't run off and go anywhere. Otherwise, I'm going to have to chase you down and fetch you back. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to lose good people. You know, this is a good company. You know, we work on it every day, a long way from perfect, like Steve was saying. This week we had, about once a quarter, we have these, what we call strategic planning meetings. You know, the biggest theme for this meeting was work environment. So, you know, what does that mean? That means a place, a company where people are treated respectfully and that, you know, is fun. I mean, we all want to make some bank, right? I'm going to have an amen on making some bank. We're here to make bank. I ain't going to avoid that issue. It's about making bank, but it's also about, you know, having a good time at work, being treated with respect. You know, maybe the facilities, and we're working hard on that, making sure that we have top-notch facilities. You know, we can say a lot of things, but we need to show you too. And one way we show it is with top-notch facilities and keeping them clean and keeping our folks accommodating. You know, we don't try to hire ornery people and then make them nice. We hire nice people to begin with. Those ornery people, they need to be working for Martin and KWLM and all those other companies. But we expect our folks here to understand our culture and to treat, above all, treat one another and especially our drivers with respect. So, you know, I thank you for your decision to come here. I thank you for your decision to stay here. And if I can help you in any way, let me know.
Robert, let me ask you something. One question. Red. We got a lot of red here. You should look in our audience. We got a lot of red.
Yeah.
Remember everyone deployed, right?
Absolutely.
Those serving our country that are not here and with their families in the U.S., but across the pond doing their jobs, protecting us. We need to be thinking about them. Remember everyone deployed. Red.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So once again, appreciate you being here. God bless each of you and be safe out there. Okay? Thank you. Steve, good job, man.